All right, guys, this here is my Surly Crosscheck. I've had this bike for about 4 months. I bought it used. I'm not sure the year. Some of you guys might know, but it's the black one, however that was. When I got it from the guy, it was a flat bar, and it had, like flat bar brakes. It had V brakes, and I've since converted it to a cantilever brake, put a drop bar on it. I put a new bottom bracket because I wasn't happy with the chain line that it had, and this is a single speed. This is the bike that kind of makes me feel better about putting gears back on the Karate Monkey because I still got my single speed. I don't know what it is about a single speed. I get this question a lot, like, why on earth do you like single speed so much? And for me, I think it's just the simplicity of it. Maintenance, there's less to go wrong. They're also more efficient if you have a really good straight chain line. You think about it, you're pulling in a straight direction. When you're going through derailleurs, you're kind of weaving the chain. There's extra friction there. And then also your derailleur wheels, you're using your energy to spin those things. So in theory, they're a little bit more efficient. Practically, I don't think I can tell at all. But I just like getting on a bike and not having to worry about gears. I'll kind of show you the way this thing's set up right now. And we'll do these couple tweaks that I need to get done. Also, when I had got this bike, it's not beat up, but it's well used. So I'm not really feeling like I need to be overly careful with this bike. Actually, that was kind of one of the things I was really excited about, is that I can ride this bike all winter long, up and down the gravel. I'm not worried about it. I mean, the paint isn't perfect on this bike, and not something I can beat up, but you can kind of see right here, the paint just isn't gorgeous, but this is a bike that's meant to be ridden. Got a 42 tooth on the front, 18 on the back, and one of the things we're gonna do today is put on a Surly tug nut. I'm finding if I really start hammering, these things are kind of sliding forward. The gentleman I bought this off of, he actually built up this wheel set, Alex Adventure rims, and he's got Surly hubs front and back, and this is actually a flip-flop hub. So he's got the track cogs on this side, the threaded portion, so if I want to do a fixie, I can do that, and I still might. And then this side is obviously set up for the freewheel. I just put on these Tektro Canty brakes, and nothing overly fancy or complicated. These levers, I love these ones. They've got a nice short hood, nice short ramp on them. I wish I knew the model, I don't. And then obviously I had to add in these stops, these adjusters, barrel adjusters, so that I could loosen them off and stuff, but I've got this thing dialed in really nicely. I've got my inexpensive Nash bar rack on there, and I also put these fenders. Now these are, what brand are they? SKS fenders, and they've got these long stays on them, and what I need to do today is chop these down. I wanted to kind of leave them for a couple months riding, make sure I was happy with different tires on them. These are the tires that came with the bike, Schwab Marathons, 700 by 35s, really like them. Heavy, they're e-bike ready, so they're heavy tires, but these are pretty reliable tires. I'm really not too concerned about getting flats. This winter I actually had installed some Schwab Marathon winter tires that are studded, and there's about a week or two where a gravel road was like solid ice, and I really couldn't ride anything. Even my fat bike was slipping all over, so I bought these studded tires, put them on, rode them for like a week or so. It was great. As soon as the ice went away, and I'd head out on the road, I'd realize how much extra resistance there are in those studs, how annoying it was, like always, down the road. If you've ever ridden stud and bicycle tires, you know what that's about. And again, if I was in the city and commuting all the time, definitely would be a different story. But out here, it's highways typically. We get a snow, vehicles drive over, and with a day or two, it's dry roads. So these are some little tabs that I need to put onto these fenders. And what they basically do is I gotta cut these down, and then these will slide on top and then kind of lock in here. I could leave it like this. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything. This just finishes up a little bit nicer. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And then we will go ahead and loosen off this rear axle, install our tug nut. And this should definitely help out in making sure we keep a nice tight chain, no matter how hard I hammer on it. I've got my king cages here. I put on these Shimano clipless pedals. Again, being a single speed, there's not an awful lot going on here. This is a bar, a bag that I made, so I can put water bottle in there, food, camera, whatever. This was a fun project. This was actually my very first sewing project, and I think I'm gonna do some more of these. In fact, I might actually make a video showing you how I did this, because it wasn't a lot of work. And for a guy like me, I'm not overly skilled with a sewing machine, and I was able to bang it out in a Sunday afternoon. I had my wife help me with a couple of things, but it was actually a really fun project. Here's a little headlight mount that I machined on my lathe. Just that way I can get a headlight down here, free up some room on the bars. Still looking, you know, I'm not entirely convinced this is going to be the final setup. Oh, I've got the Brooks C17 saddle on here. I've never used these before, but I'm really enjoying it, and super duper comfortable. I've got a little KVT Pro 75 lights. I don't know what brand it is, but it's a nice bright blinky. Daytime mode, which is really good. Like, that's bright. I mean, I'm not sure if it really shows well on camera, but always like having those. So first thing, I'm gonna go ahead and get my angle grinder. We're gonna cut off these stays. We'll put on the little rubber tabs. Then we'll loosen off the axle. Kids' motorbikes everywhere, all the time. Anyways, let's just start working. So you can see how these things kind of work on here. We need to trim this down. I'm just kind of curious. It goes up about that high. So if we kind of just hold this here, we'll probably cut it like right there. I'm hoping I can just do this with these on the bike. Don't really want to have to loosen them off, but let's just, these crazy kids. I might be getting really, really close to the fender there, but we're gonna try it. I'm gonna grab my cordless angle grinder. I'm gonna try cutting this. Definitely need our safety specs. This is not worth losing an eye over. And hearing protection. Cut into the fender a little bit on that one, but you know, I don't know if this is the right way to do it. What I should do, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark all of these like that, and then I'll mark where I'm gonna cut them. That way I can loosen it off, cut them, deburr them, get all these little sharp pieces of metal off, and then we can bolt it all up. I just really like the setup that I have. I'm really happy with the line. It drives me nuts. You see some people and their fenders will kind of come way out here and it just looks gross. I like to take a little bit of time, get it set up properly, so let's do that. You can see right here, yeah, we cut into the fender. So that's a shame. Let's avoid that if we can. I'll go ahead and get all these marked, and then I'll cut them, loosen them, cut them, and then put them back on, and then put this little tabby do on here and just clean it up right nice. Get it to look spiffy. It's not even going on there because of the burr. Come on. Yeah, we gotta clean this up a bit. Like that. See? There. That definitely finishes it off nicer, and then it's not sticking above the fender like it is the other way. So, okay, let me make some measurements, do some marks, loosen some things, cut some things, and do this proper. Something to always think about when you're setting up fenders. Generally, you want to make sure your gap grows as it goes this way. So tighter here as it comes out this way, it's actually getting bigger because you don't ever want it to be opposite. In other words, you could pick up a rock and it's just going to wedge itself in, make some bad noises, possibly break something. So always thinking about that helps. So that looks a lot better. And just gonna be nicer, not gonna catch. I always thought when it's warm out I might catch myself on these things sticking up. Finish this off. Next thing, we'll take this out and just pop in our little tug nut. I believe I have to deflate these tires in order to get them off. But actually, you know what? We're not getting that carried away because we don't need to get that carried away. So since our axle is flush in there, we're actually going to use this little adapter here. We'll figure out, I think we might need this second hole. Pop it in like that. Oh no. I think we're going to have interference issues. Shoot. So what this does, Let me take this off and I'll show you. So you can turn this, which will act on here and keep tension this way. And then these surly ones, it's got a beer bottle opener too, so it's always handy, of course, you know. I'm just not sure how well this is gonna work. Ideally, I would like to pull, you know what, I should move this to there, and that will get this in line with this dropout. But then the question is, are these going to be the right length? Oh, nothing like doing things over and over and over again, but let's investigate. Let's look into this a bit. Silly me. Oh boy. Oh boy, look at that. We're just barely on there. I'm gonna loosen these ones off too. There we go. That's okay. That is okay. I think we just dodged a bullet on this one. Okay, we're good. I'm happy. This solves this problem, which to me is more important. So now, we can keep a nice chain line on there. I don't have to worry about hammering, having it slide out. Now, you see that chain line? Ooh, I like it. It's pretty good. So, we've got our tug nut installed. Fender's on. Fairly nicely centered and lined up. I love the sound of a single speed. And just like that, we have made the mods that we wanted to make. The old surly cross check. I like this bike. It's just got a great feel to it, and I think I'm gonna go inside and have some lunch, and then we're gonna go for a bike ride.
And I set out for the afternoon bike ride, and I unplugged my lavalier microphone from the camera, forgot to adjust the volume levels for the onboard microphone, and so I have a whole lot of very, very quiet audio. Anyways, you had missed a long monologue about how I don't like riding in the wind, how it's been so windy lately, how I'm out of shape, and then I kind of talk about the cross-check, how it is really, truly a Swiss Army knife of bicycles. You know, a lot of people set them up for commuting, cyclocross racing. You can go fixed gear, you can go single speed, you can throw gears on it. You could do a 1x drivetrain, a 2x, a 3x. Touring, people set it up for touring. There are plenty of braze-ons and things like this to make this a very versatile bicycle. The steel frames are what make these bikes so special, in my opinion. You know, the gravel is rough, but the steel has a forgiveness to it. It has a bounce. It's malleable. I think these things excel in the situation of gravel riding, rambling around in the country, and this is a bike that I'm absolutely enjoying owning. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I apologize for the audio faux pas at the end of this, but hopefully enjoy some of this footage of me heading out for a ride on a windy, cold day in southern Alberta. We'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.
Bikes are fun. Bikes are a lot of fun.